Hey guys, in today's video, I am doing a speed paint for I Like Printers AJ. I strongly suggest going and checking them out on Instagram. I'm not actually sure if they do YouTube, but I think they do. I'm pretty sure, pretty confident about that. They're a very positive Instajammer, and I think they do a lot of good things for the community, so, go check them out, because they're awesome. Anyways, this piece was really fun to make. I just really liked how the colors went together. I liked drawing a lot of this stuff. At first, it was kind of complicated. Like, I couldn't really figure out the legs, and the snout was a little too pointy, and the head was too big, so I don't know. I always start out a little bit rough, but by the end, I always pull it together. And here is another difficulty I had. I couldn't get the freaking feet right. It was horrible. I don't know. And then for some reason, I had totally forgot that later I'm putting literally leopard slippers on these, so it doesn't matter how good or bad they look. But yet, I totally forgot about that, and I spent so much time doing this. I'm pretty sure this is like 50% of the video. So yeah, you'll see a lot of the sketch more than the rest of the coloring. And this was me trying to still figure out the back feet. I couldn't, for the life of me, figure it out. I don't know why. It was the hardest thing at the moment. I don't know. So now, as you can see, I'm moving on to the items that the animal is wearing on their body. I do it in a different layer just so I can kind of, see the original body sketch and then see the clothes, I guess. So I do each different clothing item in a different color, just so I can easily tell them apart, and yeah, basically just so I can easily tell them apart, because yeah, that wouldn't be good to have them all one color and then potentially get confused. I think one of the hardest parts about this was this little tiny curl that the sweater has on it. I don't know why it was so hard, but I just kind of stuck with it, but I don't think I kept it at the end. I just took it off because I'm like, this is overrated. And this was me attempting the hind legs. I still had a problem with that. I don't know why. But now I'm moving on to the trace, and I spelled trace wrong, so I just said line art. And I'm usually pretty confident when it comes to the line art, because honestly, all you have to do is just follow the lines and make it look really smooth and such. I turned my correction up to 40, which is the highest setting it will go in Fire Alpaca, so if you use Fire Alpaca and your lines are a bit wobbly and such, then there's a little thing at the top that says correction, and if you turn it all the way up, it makes your lines a lot steadier, and it's really good for your line art. Also, in this thing, I was pretty proud of how I did the fur. I don't know if I was so proud on the ear fur, but I was very proud on the tail fur. I don't know why. I liked it how it turned out. Also, I realized I made that too long. I usually like putting the back foot a little bit higher up than the first one in front, if that makes any sense at all, but I think it does. I don't know. Alright, so now I was picking out the colors, which at the time I was watching Shane Dawson, and then I had a split screen onto my animal reference that I was looking at. So it was all good, and that's why there's somewhat longer pauses in between some of this, because I was got distracted by the video. So basically I'm figuring out all the colors for all the colors that I'm going to be using, and such. Also, I made a green background because if I usually, like if I'm coloring with white or a lighter color, then I like to do that so it doesn't get confused with the transparent background, and so I make sure I color it all in because green is a pretty distinguishable color. I know how to speak. Not really. Anyways, so yeah, it helps a lot. It's another little tip I have for you guys. And back to the colors things, like I said, I like to make a palette at the beginning just so I can kind of see what colors I'm going to be using. I find it to be a really helpful tip, and I also label it as you've seen me do before that I did this. Also, now I'm working on the levers. I keep jumping in between different things, but that's what's popping up the screen, so whatever. I think I got pretty close to the original, and I was pretty proud of it, and I did like the color scheme a lot. Also, I realized that the Arctic Wolves didn't have that chest whiteness. I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah. So now I was moving on to the glasses. This part was a little bit complicated because I'm like, hey, like when I was doing the line art, I'm like, hey, I'll just put a white like thing in the middle. And I'm like, that'll be fine, right? And then I'm like, this actually looks horrible. And I'm like, what do I do? Am I making it too big or something? So I decided to put a trace around it because usually it's what I do. And I felt like it kind of brought it together for some reason. Anyways, so now we're moving on to the flowers, which this part I still wasn't really proud of because I feel like I didn't properly depict the flowers. Also, popsicles. Sorry. And I kind of just quickly did that little squiggle thing for the tail. I didn't really like it, but I kind of went with it. Just fine, I guess. So now I believe I was working on shading, and I don't know if I wrote it or not, but I did. I was working on shading. So now I was figuring out all the darker colors. Like sometimes I like to find a darker color, but I also like to move the color down. So say I have like a gray that was more purpley, and I want to move it more to the blue, if that makes any sense at all. I don't think so. But yeah. I like to kind of change the hue along with the shade, if that's art terms. I don't know. But at this point, I was kind of experimenting with the glasses because I did want to do something, like I wanted to show the eyes, but I wasn't sure at the same time. And then I thought that made it kind of look droopy. I'm like, I didn't want it to be like that. So I tried to make a good smile. I always tend to take a long time on making the face. I don't know why. But eventually I just get to a point I'm like, this is good enough. I'm going to stick with it because everything else takes too long. So now I was working on the basic shading, which I'm just going to say before anybody maybe criticizes me, I'm just going to say I'm not the best at shading at all. I will totally admit that. I'm still learning. Like, I just know the basics, kind of. I know that you're supposed to have a focal point over where the light is coming from. I'm still not good at that. A lot of people say do still images. I can't bring myself to doing it because it's so boring and I don't draw realistically. I don't know. I just can't. But I bet that's probably a bad reason. But yeah, so now I'm working on the sweater. I felt like it needed something there instead of just a darker color, so I added some stripes. I feel like I should have done a darker color along with the stripes, but yeah. One of the things I like to do with the tails, if they're really big and stuff, is add like kind of a big shadow on it. I think it gives it more texture to the tail, and big areas of fur I like doing random shadows. Not even shadows, I feel like just different colors. I don't know. So basically that's what we're working on now. And I feel like at this point, I was working on the pattern. So I wish the pattern wasn't a part on this thing, but I guess it looked okay by the end. I don't really know. The lightning bolts, I swear, were one of the hardest things for me to do. I don't know why exactly. I just felt like they weren't pointy enough. They weren't like angly enough, if that makes any sense. But I did kind of end up rolling with it. I don't even know what that one was right there. I'm like, I just give up. I'm just gonna draw straight lines. And that's basically what I did. So now I added the shadows to the things to kind of match up with the other shadows, so it wouldn't be completely weird. And yeah. So now I was going down to the leopard slippers to add shadows to that, and going to the ears, and basically just going around to stuff that I didn't put shading on. And I also just realized I forgot to put shading on the glasses. Welp, I already posted it, too late. So now I was kind of just cleaning up the rest of it. I was trying to wait for the person, like I had said, what kind of background do you want? They hadn't responded yet, and they basically wanted little purple hearts around it, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take this somewhere. And I added little pink dots and whatever that is. By the end of it, I was really proud of it, and I asked if they wanted a white outline, and I said yes, so I was like, okay, well, let's do that. And I was like trying to go for a thinner outline this time, because usually I go for a really thick one, but I'm like, since I already have the decals around it, I'm going to just make it kind of thinner than I usually do, which is kind of weird, not a regular thing that I do, but yeah. If that made any sense to you at all, sorry if it didn't. I'm probably just talking gibberish. And now at this point, I forget what I was waiting for. I was waiting for something. Oh yeah, waiting for person. I think I was waiting to see what they wanted, like with the eyes. So yeah, they wanted the visible eyes. So basically, if you don't know what I'm talking about, they wanted the eyes where they could see the eyes through the glasses, and I ended up saving it away with a version with eyes that are visible and a version with a transparent background. And I forget if I had the eyes visible for that or not. Also, this is me getting on Animal Jam now and waiting for the person. I thought they were going to come to my den, but they didn't. And they ended up, they found my old account and they almost sent the gift to that account, and then they found out that it was AJ, and that would have been bad because then I would have never gotten my payment and I would have felt bad. But yeah, they gave me a green long wrist, so I quickly got out of Animal Jam and started to post it. And basically whenever I post stuff, I just do commission for blah 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 and a little commentary about it, and then I did the price and what they paid, and then a little advertisement, and then I do all my hashtags, which is a lot. And then I post it. Yay! And basically that's that. And now it's over. That was quick. So if you guys did enjoy today's video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, because that would be awesome. And I'm also very truly sorry that I haven't been posting for a while. I promise, kids, I promise. There'll be some videos coming up really soon. I'm gonna crack down on it. I've been pretty busy and stressed out lately, but I can do it. And I love you guys a lot. And stop by my den whenever, because it's going to be open, and I need friends, and yeah, I enjoy talking with you guys. Okay, anyways, I'm going to get out of your hair and stuff, and have a good day, I guess. Or night, or afternoon, or, I don't know. Bye!